Part 1, Chains and Fire. Chapter 1. The chains that could not hold the night clung to the plantation like a suffocating cloak. Cicadas hummed, restless, as if even the smallest creatures felt the unease that shrouded the fields. A boy crouched beneath the shadow of a half-rotted beam, the bark rough and splintering against his palms. His name was Charles, though he had learned not to expect it from the men who owned him. By day he labored in the sweltering fields, shoulders burning under sun, and whip alike. By night, he listened to stories passed from one weary back to another, stories of men who vanished into the woods and were never seen again, except in rumors of the north where no master waited. He wondered what freedom smelled like. Was it different from the cotton dust clogging his throat, or the sour stink of sweat and iron? He held on to the question like a secret compass, pointing him toward a place he had never seen. Chapter 2. Freedom's first step. The road north was not paved. It was mud, stone, and fear. Yet when Charles stepped onto Ohio soil, the air struck him like a different language. It smelled of wet stone and iron, raw and sharp, as though the land itself had been tempered in fire. In Greenfield, he found work among smiths. They gave him the dirtiest tasks, stoking fires until his arms ached, clearing ash, hauling metal bars twice his weight. Yet when their backs turned, he watched. Chapter 3. A stranger in a free land. Ohio called itself free, but Charles soon discovered that words and truths often walked different roads. When he strode down Main Street, heads turned. Some faces sneered, others tightened with suspicion. At the smithy, his talent grew undeniable. He could read the mood of metal by the hiss it gave when struck, could shape wheels and axles that lasted longer than those of his peers. Chapter 4. Sparks of Destiny. The blacksmith's hammer became an extension of his own will. He swung not merely for coin, but for a vision he could scarcely name. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, Charles stood at the open door of the smithy, sweat on his brow, the smell of iron thick in the air. Part 2. Building Dreams in Iron. Chapter 5. The leap of faith. The morning light cut through the smithy windows like sharpened glass, glinting on iron dust and polished wood. Charles Richard Patterson stood in the center of the workshop, hands blackened with soot, heart hammering like the pistons of a carriage wheel. Chapter 6. Family Legacy forged. Charles walked among his workers, his sons trailing close behind. Each step, each glance, each instruction carried meaning. In the evenings, Charles would sit with them by the hearth, hands still blackened from work, and tell stories of the North, of the men and women who had vanished into freedom, and of the fires that had shaped him. Chapter 7. The carriage king of Greenfield. The streets of Greenfield were quiet that morning, but the yard of Patterson's workshop hummed with life. Wheels spun, hammers rang, saws sang. Charles walked the floor, inspecting each carriage, speaking with each worker. His voice was calm, authoritative, patient, and precise.